my name's Al. Today we're looking at Team Rocket's Crobat EX. This is another big Pokemon coming in Destined Rivals, and it's one of the big Team Rocket Pokemon that you might want to slot into another deck. It's got a dark typing, it's got this cool looking art. Crobat has the same name in Japanese, Crobato, and we're gonna jump into a biting spree with Team Rocket's Crobat EX on this semi sort of guide on how to play and looking at some of the deck lists that have already been coming out in Japan, how you might want to build this thing, and then how it might look when you actually apply it. So let's go ahead and start our little course thing. If you've been enjoying the videos, I'm so happy about that. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy it. It really helps spread it, but I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoy this. So, looking at the card here, we have a 310 HP Pokemon on this Crobat, Rocket's Crobat. Looks like Biting Spree is going to be the name of the ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may choose two of your opponent's Pokemon and put 2 damage counters on each of them. So we're dealing with damage counters here. Not only with Crobat, but Golbat has a damage counter dropping ability as well. With Sneaky Bite, once during your turn when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you can put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So they have very similar abilities here. What we're focusing on is, again, building a deck around having Crobat drop damage counters and stuff, but then also maybe combining it with an already established deck profile, such as with, other Rocket Pokemon, like Rocket's Mewtwo EX and Spidops, or you might want to combine with Dragapult EX, which is already a popular deck, especially maybe more popular now still because we might not be getting the Psyduck card that has kind of destroyed Dragapult, or, Dragapult Dusknoir, I need to specify. But yeah, so let's go ahead and look at this. Zubat here is, of course, the Pokemon we have to start with. It's got 50 HP, very vulnerable out here, but we do need it to stay alive in order to evolve. But it has 1 attack, Poison Fling, let's say, and it just costs 1 energy, and it poisons the opponent's active Pokemon. Now, that is a potential something. You can go ahead and poison that thing, and then when you poison it, it does the 1 damage counter, the 10 damage, but then if you have Perilous Jungle in play, adding 2 more damage counters to the 1 for the poison during checkup, you reach 30, which is enough to take out Badoo. And I mention it because sometimes those are some sneaky things you can watch out for, and if they might come up in games. Golbat can also drop damage counters when evolved through its ability. Badoo can attack for 10, so if you've got Badoo in your deck, maybe you're playing a Dragapult sort of build with it, that means another possible chance at an easy 30 damage output while item locking if you're up against another Badoo or low HP Pokemon like Joltik, and those are relevant in the meta right now, so it is good to take note of, for sure. Golbat's very sneaky. It also has Confuse Ray, 30 damage, and it can confuse the active Pokemon as well. So, Biting Spree, just including this because I find it interesting, the Japanese naming for it, Kamitsukimawaru. So Kamitsuki, it looks like it comes from the verb of kamitsuku, which is like biting and stuff, and then mawaru is like circular spinning, turn, revolve. Yeah. But I guess that is the thing. So to bite around, to bite wildly, spit around biting. I think the literal translations are kind of funny, but I don't know. Anybody else who's interested, hope you like that little bit. We're moving to the damage now. So evolve from Zubat into Golbat, and you put 20 damage somewhere. So when you evolve from Zubat into Golbat, you get to put 20 damage somewhere. I evolve from Golbat to Crobat, and then put 20 and 20 somewhere. I know that might sound strange, but yeah. The ability is relying on evolution, so keep in mind that you can use this ability once in each evolution, which means there is 2 total uses for that Pokemon. Each evolution drops 1 damage, 20 damage lump with Golbat, and then 2 20 damage lumps with Crobat. So once evolved, obviously the ability can't be used again unless you recover it again. We're gonna get to that. But yeah, with it dropping damage counters, even in a game where I was playing a Dragapult build of it against myself with a Raging Bolt, dropping the 20 damage around was good to get that 240 to tick it down to 220, or then with Golbat also including an additional two, like, so you can see we're playing with damage here. And there's a number of cards in the TCG right now that do play around with damage in different ways. And we can think of, like Iron Valiant does the damage spread. It is more easy to get damaged into going because you just zoom on in. But for Crobat, the plus of it is that not only can it do the damage drop kind of thing, but it has value as potentially an attacker as well with this unique Assassin's Return attack. Assassin's Return here says you may put this Pokemon into your hand, discard all cards attached to this Pokemon. So this is kind of like, it's like Turbo Scenario. No, but yeah, you get the Slam for 120 for 2 energy, and the 2 energy is easy enough to get because we have Rocket's energy available, and we can go ahead and whap that on, get it into the active, attack, run. You may put in your hand. So 120 alone may not be that phenomenal, but of course, it's not like gonna be the big heavy hitting attack. It's more for something that you can kind of line up strategically and really come from behind or sneaky and get in there, especially with tools attached. So what we see in some deck lists are going to be things like Defiance Band. Defiance Band can dish out 150 damage or 300 for weakness. As you're seeing, weakness is important, and Binding Mochi can be attached and dish out 160 damage, and that's 320 for weakness, which kills Gardevoir. So that is one thing to keep in your head, at least, to maybe think that, remember that Crobat exists out there. We'll see how it does when everything is released and we're playing with it, but yeah, that is something. So the power of picking it up, despite the fact that this is an evolution ability on this Pokemon, it works because you can potentially bring the cards back up into your hand and keep doing it. You'll be picking up Zubat, Golbat, Crobat, and discarding the rest. Discarding any tools, discarding the energy. Your hand will increase by 3 cards. This is something that you might overlook, but keep it in mind, especially if you're using something like Secret Box as well. These are the little subtle things that can maybe help remembering and how to sequence stuff and what you're working with, who knows. But yeah, those are important to keep in mind. So Team Rocket's Crobat, as alluded to, played mostly as an addition to other Pokemon in the deck as well, it looks like. One popular package is with the Rocket Gang, the Spidops, the Team Rocket's Mewtwo, having like a one-of Mewtwo. You might have, here was all the basic, and then Crobat, of course. The Articuno, Rocket's Articuno, I need to say, is also one that protects the bench and stuff. And then the Mimikyu can be a free retreat pivot. And then we have a bunch of supporter Rocket cards as well. Then we also have tons of supporter Rocket cards. We also see that those band, the Defiance Band, that's something. Same deal here. We have this surprise Sneasel continuing to pop up here and there. Little guy, I like seeing him. And then as we see here, maybe you want to include a Rocket's Mewtwo EX. If you want to get a deck focused on Rocket's Mewtwo EX, I did do a recent video on that, I think, the other day. So if you want to check that out, you definitely can. But let's go ahead and look at a build from Japan. This is from Daichi Shimada. This is part of the one of the 4 Heavenly Kings in Japan, I guess, right now, and they have published deck lists and some teachings as well online. I'll have everything linked, of course, but in this list they chose to use a Dragapult build and include Crobat as well. They have the Badoo there, they have Squawkabilly, Fez, all that stuff, but yeah, this is something that could work interestingly. They also have some Lumious energy. They also have the A-Spec energy that's not, I don't often see. We do have the Defiance Band as well. This is a lot of cards in the package, and I really like it. I think things like this with all these like low count of things, personally, I kind of find it fun, especially when it's Dragapult and you're like drawing with Dracloak and doing that Recon Directive ability and like just shuffling through. It feels really good that way. So yeah, that's something to try. But then we have other lists with Dragapult in it. We can see here one of them has Shaman, one of them also has the Monkey Dory included as well. So more damage moving around. I guess I should say, yeah, Monkey Dory and Frostlass are also cards that are really manipulating and playing with damage a bit and spreading damage counters and all that around the board. That is gaining in popularity, I would say. This one has the Sparkling Crystal as the A-Spec, interesting stuff. And then here are even there's stuff with other minor rocket packages. There's the Ampharos, the Mareep, the Pupitar, Tyranitar, Larvitar gang. Sneasel's here too. Oh man. Well, that is the overview. As for me, when I got my hands on it and drew some proxies for Crobat, I was able to play with it a little bit against myself, against a little Raging Bolt. I was having fun with it. All in all, I think Crobat is a sneaky thing to keep in mind as the format moves ahead and into the future when it's during its rotation pool. I think that it could be a sneaky tech card in the future if something demands it. Like I said, I think that it is a good and easy thing to slot into other decks already, and you just really have to have a Rocket's energy to slap onto it if you want to do that route quickly and get 2 energies with, 1 card. That is something to do. Then you can also, again, it's nice that you have this ability on a middle stage as well. Even if it's not the same ability, you're also dropping counters, and then even decks like Dragapult, I can see where it benefits, of course. The Rocket Pokemon right now are not doing so hot, but maybe in the future they might do a little better, or at least broken up, maybe not into a Rocket deck of its own, but in other decks like we're seeing with this one, and I think Crobat's a good example of that, so it's something to keep in the back of your mind, what it does, how it might come into play, that stuff, and I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, yeah, that's awesome. I would love to hear about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on if you're building it, if you want to play with it, or, you have, or anything of that sort as well, of course. I hope you're having fun with the new cards if you're attending the pre-release events, and then if not, once it releases on the 30th, hope you have a lot of fun with it then too. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.